Now to a shocking discovery in a 5-year-old mystery. Olivia Newton John's ex-boyfriend, who vanished almost 5 years ago, has reportedly turned up alive. He's alive, everybody, alive! Patrick McDermott vanished in the summer of 2005, shortly after breaking up with the beautiful Australian singer. He was last seen aboard a fishing boat off the coast of California. Here's what the Coast Guard said shortly after his disappearance 5 years ago.
Right now, we're still treating it as a missing persons case. From the start, the investigation has been for a missing person, and along those lines, through interviews and stuff, it's all the interviews up to this point has remained a missing persons case, and until the interviews lead us in other direction, we're still treating it as that.
But the missing persons explanation didn't float for long. Accusations flew that McDermott had faked his own death. McDermott reportedly had taken out a life insurance policy worth between $100,000 and $150,000. Over the years, there have been multiple sightings of him at various places, bars and restaurants all across Mexico. Well, now a group of private investigators hired by Dateline NBC say they have nailed McDermott, and they have, quote, proof of life. How the PIs claim they tracked down Olivia's paramour of 9 years. Well, it's pretty amazing. McDermott's attorney admits his client has been located. So they're admitting, yes, I'm alive. I'm sure you'll have a whole lot to say about this. Give me a holler. 1-877-JVM says, 1-877-586-7297. Straight out to my fantastic panel. Rod Wheeler back with us, along with Darren Kavanoki, criminal defense attorney and legal analyst for The Insider, Sandra Hope, owner of MateCheck Private Investigators, a very descriptive company name there. And we begin with Jim Murray, attorney and chief correspondent for Inside Edition. Jim, what is the very latest? I know you guys are very hot on this story tonight.
Yeah, we have an Inside Edition producer who was down in Sayulita, Mexico, which is near Puerto Vallarta, and she found a businessman and also a boat owner, both who say that they've seen Patrick McDermott. One took him on his boat several times, and he said McDermott even asked to be hired on as a crew member, but he wasn't hired. And you know, I remember covering the story when it broke 5 years ago, and I went on the fishing boat where he was last seen, and things didn't add up at the time. First and foremost, not only did he leave his wallet, but he had his passport and keys, everything on the boat, and it was an overnight fishing trip. There's no reason you would take your passport, so clearly we and others had questions right from the beginning, and now, as you say, he's been seen by multiple people alive.
Olivia Newton John spoke to Larry King in October of 2006, a little over a year after Patrick vanished.
We don't know. Is he dead? Is he alive? Isn't that harder?
It's very hard to live with that.
Like missing in action.
Yes, it is. I've never experienced anything like it, but I think it's probably the hardest thing I've ever experienced. And I've been through a lot of things. I've been through divorce. I've been through breast cancer. But this was the hardest thing because it's ongoing. There's no answers, and you'd have to live with that.
McDermott was reportedly finally located by private investigator Philip Klein, who set up a website. Get this is fascinating. FindPatrickMcDermott.com. Klein reportedly noticed that a cluster of IP addresses near Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, were offering tips on McDermott's presumed whereabouts. So the private investigator reportedly discovered him living under his birth name, Pat Kim. So, Sandra, you are with Checkmate or MateCheck Private Investigations. This is a smart thing to do.
It's a very smart thing to do. Absolutely. We actually have a lot of cases ourselves where people come up missing and they have excuses of what they're doing and where they're going, and we find out differently that they have separate lives. They have another person that they're living with, or that they're on vacation with, or even in prison and tell someone. It happens all the time where they disappear and don't tell everybody, and they're cowards. And it's really a good thing for Olivia that this happened and that he has gone out of her life, even though she had to deal with such pain.
Well, now she's married and she's moved on, but I'm sure she's happy that this man that she at one point had a lot of affection for has been found. Here's my big issue tonight. was Olivia Newton John's ex running from debt. Patrick McDermott reportedly had big money problems. While he was dating Olivia, he reportedly racked up 30 grand in debt. In 2000, he declared bankruptcy. At the time, he vanished in 2005. He reportedly owed $8,000 in child support, and he had taken out a life insurance policy for 100 grand that was payable to his son. McDermott's lawyer has now said that he's not to be, quote, hounded by investigators or police. But Darren, you're the lawyer. Has he broken the law? Is it legal to just disappear, or did he do something wrong?
Well, disappearing has been part of our culture for as long as men supposedly were just going down to the street to grab a gallon of milk and not returning. So it's not the disappearing that presents the problem. It's the life insurance piece that really could get him into some legal hot water. Yeah. Filing bankruptcy, not a big deal. I mean, legally, there's all kinds of negative ramifications, but when you are filing false claims or setting up a life insurance policy so that others can benefit, then the police are going to be very, very interested in investigating that aspect. And as much as he wants to be left alone, I doubt he's going to get his wish. I'm sure investigators are going to want to talk to him. Yeah.
Hey, Jim Murray, do you know if life insurance policy was paid out? Because if it wasn't paid out, maybe there is no legal violation there.
The latest report out of Australia,
whether or not it's paid out.
I'm sorry, what, Darren?
Oh, I was just pointing out, Jim, that prosecutors might still be interested in him for attempt, even if the life insurance policy weren't actually paid out.
All right, go ahead.
That's correct. Darren's correct, but the latest reports out of Australia, and that's where obviously Olivia Newton John's from, the major interest is focused there. They say that the policy is continuing to be paid upon, and no claim has been made on the policy. So his son, who was the beneficiary, has apparently not received any money under the policy, as far as we can tell.
Now, he also owed child support, right, Jim? So that's going to accrue over the years that he was missing, because the boy was 13 when he went missing. So with interest and everything else, he's in deep financial trouble if they want to pursue him for that, right, Jim?
Well, not only that, but think about the pain. Forget you have Olivia Newton John, but think about his son. I mean, you're a father. I mean, it's one thing not to pay child support, but to have your son think you're dead and you're not, you just skipped out. Look, I think this guy, he has a lot of issues that go beyond the legal issues.
Tracy in New Jersey, your question or thought?
Yes, I would like to know who is the beneficiary on that insurance policy.
Well, Jim, I think you just said it. It's the child, the son, right?
Right. As far as we know, it's the son.
I just was wondering, I mean, being with Olivia Newton John, obviously she's not poor, his debt doesn't seem to be that overwhelming where he would actually leave someone he loved and cared for just over that amount of money. I mean, what was it? Was it another woman that he left for? Or was, I mean, what reason? I just don't think it was the money reason myself. I think there probably had to be someone else.
Well, what are your thoughts on that, Jim? You've just written a fantastic book called The Last Day of My Life about money issues and how they affect you emotionally.
Yeah, I've got a lot more than $30,000 in debt, and I haven't thought about running away yet. But
especially leaving someone that you really love and care for over that, like Olivia would.
One at a time. Go ahead.
No, you're absolutely right. I think that it sounds like he simply wanted to get away, because the life that he's reportedly leading down in Mexico is not a lavish lifestyle. I mean, he's picking up rides on boats, and he wants to work as a deckhand, a very simple life. It sounds like, honestly, he just wanted to check out and go off the grid, as we say.
Yeah, he wanted to drop out, and he did, but now he's been found. Thank you, fantastic panel. Disturbing new reports in the horrifying